Welcome, you're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV. Each year on August 30th, the world marks International Day of the Disappeared to draw attention to the fate of individuals imprisoned at places unknown to their relatives. This issue is especially pressing for Ukraine, where the Russian aggression continues for the fifth year now. According to the International Red Cross Committee, in this period, over 1,500 people have gone missing since the start of the conflict. So what can and must be done to solve this problem? To talk more about this, we're joined in the studio today by Vyacheslav Likhachov. He is the coordinator on documentation of human rights violations at Charitable Foundation VOSTOK-SOS. Hello, and thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon.
So, as you know, at the beginning of August, President of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, signed a law on the status of internally displaced persons. Why now? Why not earlier? Why not 5 years ago when the conflict started?
Well, it was a long process, and our NGO was involved in a process of preparing of the new law. And as far as we know, the general situation, according to the legislation of pre-war period, was not adequate to the new situation in general. And not only in this direction, but on a frames of legal basis of the counter-terroristic operation of the unit forces was created in general as a frames only during this year. So, of course, it is a little bit, or not a little bit late, but it is not the specific of this topic. It is the specific of the general legislative situation in Ukraine in connection with the conflict.
Okay. What are the main provisions of the law?
First of all, speaking about legal status of disappeared persons, we need to mention that the pre-war legislation was inadequate to the new situation. There is no unit register of disappeared persons in connection with the conflict.
There is no official list of displaced people still?
It is, but it is not unique, and it is not the only official list.
Okay,
because
so basically
National
every
Police
NGO
has its lists. There are, yes, International Red Cross statistics. There are NGOs like ours or like Mirny Bereg, which has maybe the most accurate statistic in this question, who had their own list, but there is no official authoritative source for all the governmental bodies.
Does the new law presuppose united, only official list of internally displaced people, of missing people?
It is one of the questions, and also there will be a commission under the governmental structure which will deal with all the questions with official list registers and the process of investigation. The process of investigation is the third important point, because there will be, according to the new law, a new article in a criminal code dealing with specific of violent and forced disappearance of persons, because until now there is no difference between a person who disappeared in, I don't know, western region when he went to nearest shop, and with persons who disappeared in a context of the conflict. So this new law created frames for their definition of who had disappeared in the war or others extraordinary circumstances. And official commission will deal with all those questions. There will be official register, and the last but not the least important point, that there will be a official legal status of families relatives to the person who disappeared, and a kind of survivors' benefits for them. Because, yes, until now there is no social support for this category of families.
What about people who are imprisoned, but the place where they're imprisoned is unknown to their relatives. Will they have a separate status? Because technically they're not missing. It's well known that they're imprisoned. It's just that the place of their imprisonment is an unknown fact.
If there is any kind of information that they were imprisoned and still alive, but we don't know exactly where they are, they are not under this law, because this law is especially about persons we have no information where they are. So it is a separate question, and if we know in general that the person was imprisoned in illegal prisons on occupied territories or even in Russia, there are another instruments, another mechanisms of their talks about their future, about their destiny, and their process of including them to a list of people according to the three-side commission under the according to Minsk agreement and so on. So it's a separate question. This new law deals with the person we have no information where they are or are they alive in general.
You've already mentioned that there is no official list of people who have gone missing. Now, there are a number of organizations, institutions, NGOs, even on the governmental level, that are working in the framework of searching for those people. So if you do not have the only official list of missing people, how do you define which person to look for and whether you consolidate your efforts in this process?
I hope we will. And
well, right now, before the law.
Right now, yes, there is a problem of communication between even different governmental bodies and between governmental bodies and NGOs. So now there is a problem of communication, of changing information, and it is one of the problem which should be solved by the new legislation.
How would you propose solving this problem?
Official commission, which will works on unite official register of with this list of persons. They will work with different governmental bodies and in cooperation with NGOs. And now there is a question of implementation. There is a question of sub-law registering regulation status of this commission and this register, but we hope, because we are involved in those processes, we hope that during nearest 2-3 months the commission will be ready to work and the principles of the register will be defined.
These days, before the commission is actually established and implemented, how does the search process happen?
There is official process according to the procedure when family relatives gone to national police. National police start an investigation, but there is no separation between any other situation all over the country and situation in a context of the war. So there is an official statistic, but there is official statistic which includes everybody who was disappeared all over the country.
How does the process of the search happen?
The main problem is that speaking about the persons who disappeared in context of the war, we speak about territories which are not under the governmental control. So any real investigation is impossible right now.
If we're not talking about people who disappeared in the context of the Russian hybrid conflict, how does the search process happen?
The search process, according to the procedure of the national police has, according to the investigation, and again, usually the official qualification is the article of Criminal Code number 115, which is murdering, because if we don't have any kind of information about person for a long period, national police support that maybe murdering had been taken place. So it is a usual investigation in cases of murdering.
Is there any official data on the number of people that have been found after they have gone missing?
More than 1,000, if I'm not mistaken, about 1,200 persons.
Out of how many?
Were found from the very beginning of the war, from the general number of about 2,500. So now we're speaking about 1,500 or a little bit less.
Do you think that once the law is fully implemented and the commission is created, the number is going to increase?
We hope so. And not only this issue is the goal of the new legislation, because the social status and the social support for the families in this extremely difficult situation is also important. But yes, we hope that the number will be less, because the instruments of identification of bodies, for example, which are still unidentified, will be more easy, and again, unit register will be make this process much more quickly.
Thank you so much for coming and clarifying the whole situation for us.
Thank you.
That was Vyacheslav Likhachov. He is a coordinator on documentation of human rights violations at Charitable Foundation VOSTOK-SOS. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned with UATV for more.